Okay, so it looks like we're almost at the end of our first day of the conference. I hope people are feeling just a little bit sad that maybe it's coming to an end for a day and we won't see each other for another 12 or so hours, okay? I've been enjoying it and I hope you have too. So our final session is on immigration and tax. This will be a 30-minute session, and it also involves the interplay and principles to be considered in global mobility, taxation, and the workforce issues that are coming up. So our key presenter is Amarpal Chadha from EY. If you would like to come up and join the panel, find your place on the stand. Also is Steve Rao from Sapient, if you would come up and join. Could you go back just one? So it's a little bit difficult for me to read from the distance here, but Amarpal is a partner and he's the India lead for mobility at EY. He is an expert in the employee taxation and has an advisory focus on the global mobility services within EY. He's going to teach us the best practices. He's going to give us a lot of good tips. And his background is in accounting, so it all makes sense. We're glad that he's here with us. And also Steve Rao. He's Director of People Mobility at Sapient, a specialist in global tax policy and risk management, has a deep knowledge of the issues, the treaties, the cross-border assignment policies, all of the things that are really complicated that most of us in here don't ever even understand or know about. This man is the guru. He's the guru. And so you want to talk to him when you have these questions and don't know what to do. He's going to be your mentor and friend. He's also held positions at CSC, IBM, and Accenture, brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. We're glad that Steve's with us. Okay, and then, next slide. Hema, if you would come and join us, Venkatraman, we're glad that you're here too. She's worked with GE, Accenture, and is now with CSC since 2013, leading the shared services for Asia, Middle East, and Africa. Has a background in the HR and finance with focus on process, okay? Trying to help her employer to save resources and make the most of this tax savings and opportunity with the changes when the employees are transferred. So this is an illustrious panel. There's no question we're very lucky to have them. But at this point, Amarpal, if you would like to take it away.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Jake, for the nice introduction. Hope I can package all of that in 30 minutes. Yeah. So, and I think he built up a very nice story that we were all going to miss each other for the next 12 hours. I'm sure you're all hoping that I drop down dead now so that it can get over. But yes, you'll have to bear with me, and I'll try to stick to the 30-minute deadline for sure. Yeah. I think I'll start, and the topic itself, if you see, is interplay between tax and immigration. A little bit different from what you've been doing since morning, the right thing to understand about immigration. I think I've been brought in to sort of entertain you for some time so that you end the session well. Yeah. Have you all heard about the sound chamber experiment? Have you ever experimented or have you read about this experiment? It's being done by Harvard. It's a sound chamber experiment. Has anybody heard about it? Because then I can say anything if you've not read about it. Yeah? Okay, so that makes my task easier. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so in a sound chamber experiment, what was done with a lot of people was they were put in a sound chamber and the decibel was increased slowly. And there was a person standing outside the chamber with a remote control saying, if you signal from inside, I will switch off the volume right then. So till the time you can bear the noise, you bear it and let me know when you want me to switch it off. Yeah? They repeated that with many people. Everybody went to a certain degree, let's say, for example, 80 decibels. Yeah, and then they raise their hand, we can't hear anymore. It's too stressful, so switch it off. Yeah. They repeated the experiment with the same set of people, but gave them the remote inside the chamber. Everybody did 20 to 30% better. Yeah. That's human nature. We all want to be in control. Yeah. We want to do whatever we do with our own control. Yeah. If I do immigration, I want to do immigration absolutely under my control. Yeah. Who are you to tell me where to go, when to go? Why does business want people to be landed in 3 months? Why is tax interfering in immigration? Yeah, when I'm telling them this is the best model to land people, why are they coming up saying, no, there is a better way to do it? Yeah, that's human tendency. Yeah? And with this panel, I had a brief discussion and same insights that the moment we all look into silos, we want to be immigration professionals, we want to be tax professionals, that's when the India business story starts. Yeah? You've seen where are all Indian business houses who wanted to do it themselves, yeah? As compared to the ones which opened up and said, let professionals run the companies. When you try do everything in a silo, run, and if you look, and just to take 30 seconds more, if you look at the Indian business model, only family members used to run businesses. Yeah? And each family member in any business is a CEO. Yeah? They don't like to discuss with others because they feel they are equally competent. They're all born in the same family, so there's no need of taking guidance from the others or discuss matters to take any final decisions. Yeah? Recipe for failure. Similarly, in business like ours, when we look at global mobility, there are 3 facets: immigration, tax, what's the third one? Social security, somebody said, yeah? So there are 3 legs to whatever we do on the global mobility structure. To land people in an efficient cost, we need to manage all these 3. While we all may be experts or claiming to be experts on all 3, in today's world, it's become difficult to understand the complexities involved in all 3 and address that to a business. Yeah. With that, I think what I'm trying to take you to a thought process is that while we may do whatever we do in immigration, in tax, but unless we merge our thoughts, are we able to align what's good for business and what's the risk appetite that the company can take? Whatever we do, there is a lot of risk involved, specifically immigration. Yeah? At the same point, tax is not an easy bet when you're landing employees across and who travel across countries. Yeah. So with that thought, I would want to move to the panelists first and ask them their thoughts on at least this initial thought process and what they see in the company. You notice both of them have worked across the industry sector, so it will be good to understand from them. At the same time, if you have any thoughts, please feel free to raise your hand and we can pick the discussion there. Hema, can I first request you to get your thoughts? Does sound chamber work for you, or are you the one who likes the remote in your hand?
Okay, so.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Some couple of perspectives, at least from the business side, right? As you rightly pointed out, we're working as silos, so there are specialists within their own teams, right? For example, Sri spoke about, the end-to-end supply chain kind of activity. So if you take recruitment people, they say that, yes, I know who needs to be sent abroad for the job. So next comes, the global mobility team, where they say that, okay, these are the formalities, please fill it up and then, take it forward from there. Next comes the business managers. They take most of the decisions in terms of, okay, is this person right for the job or not? And the client also has a say in terms of multiple recruitment activities. We have a statutory compliance team which takes care of, compliance. To an extent, the information is passed on to them. So then, there's no team actually like what you mentioned, which actually connects all these 5 teams to say that, okay, this is the right thing to do. Is he the right person to travel? Is he going on the right set of documentation? Is the right rules applied for him? For example, people go on a business visa, right? And then they get localized without informing anyone, right? So that's a very common theme that we are seeing nowadays. And when this happens, is global mobility team involved or informed? I think that is one of the things that we need to take care of. Right? Today, in most of the cases, it is more of an information that comes to this particular team. We were sharing this example just a while back. If we have this team, like the consulate, where they take decisions based on a lot of criteria on various rules, if they become the team to have a say in terms of which person goes on which kind of a visa, which country, is he qualified or not, that would make it a business model. But today, that business model is not available. plus teams are working in silos.
So are you saying there's a team outside immigration, tax, social security which oversees the whole function to say who's the right person to be deputed and?
Yeah, so oversee is not, in totality. They oversee their respective functions. But what we are asking for is a team which oversees all the functions.
Okay, so basically somebody who stitches all these three together?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Should have the knowledge and the expertise to be able to stitch all these things together.
Okay. I think that's a very, very high ask by you. Do any of you see that in your organizations? Somebody stitching all together, all three functions, immigration, tax, social security, finally deciding to move across? Feel free, if you have any thoughts, please raise your hand and it can, before I move to Steve, because I think he will say that, yes, I do that. Yeah? So,
In fact, if somebody raises their hand, I'll just go to them and write down the best practice.
Yes.
So, yeah.
so Steve, over to you.
Yeah, so even before that, Amarpal, a question. So when they had the remote in their hands, did anybody increase the decibels so high that it hurts their ears?
No, so the experiment was limited to the fact if you raise your hand, it will be switched off.
Okay. So I would take it one step further to see if somebody hurt their ears just because they had remote in their hand, then they would be more cautious. And I think I've seen in the industry across, we've seen companies burning hands because they worked in too many silos. And not surprisingly, the companies that I have worked, we burnt our hands. Now we have, previously we had silos again, as was a common practice. But once you burn your hands, people want to blame it on others. And that's where mobility in our company had stepped in and said that, okay, we're going to do it. So we set up something called Mobility Advisory Committee. And even before a business deal is signed in our region, we need to get Mobility Advisory Committee's approval to show that when people are going to travel, they're going to travel on the right visa. And again, I have my esteemed colleague here who takes care of all entire immigration with me. We have brought in people together. Is it working absolutely flawless? I would not say so.
Okay.
There's still so much room for improvement, but we've started on the journey, is what I would say.
But how does it exactly work? Is it, and you can make it general if you don't want to dwell into details about your
No,
own
I think
company, but
this model is working for us, so I would want to make it a little more plain. So we have a Mobility Advisory Committee which sits every alternate Thursdays in our company. And we have business leads, we have accounting leads, we have corp tax lead, and we have mobility leads who sit and they look at the deal and they look at what the corp tax exposure is, what income tax exposure is, what social tax exposure, immigration exposure is. And only when everything is compiled, it goes to our head office in France where it gets approved, and then only we can operate into that country.
so that sounds like a good model.
It's working. Yeah.
Okay, great. In fact, just to add, today morning I was in a meeting and I heard the same story saying that immigration and tax was never a boardroom talk till a few years ago. Yeah? You would still manage, for people managing global mobility, they can help move people. But the immigration and tax professional managing mobility would never reach the board to have a discussion or to have a strategy. And we are seeing, as a change, very visible now in the industry, that people from HR, from global mobility, being called for these meetings, where they want to devise a strategy, a long-term strategy for deployment of people.